Hello students, welcome to CMI's online classes, and this video is for class 6 chapter number 11. Name of the chapter is light, shadow and reflection. So as we all know, where there is light, a shadow is formed and light also reflects. So in this session we will talk about different source of light, then we will talk about how shadow is formed or why we can see there is a shadow. Okay, then we will talk about reflections of light. Okay, so let's talk about light. So for all, we will talk about luminous and non-luminous objects. Okay, so what do you mean by luminous object and non-luminous object? So before studying light, we must know about this thing. Okay. So objects that emit light on their own are called luminous objects. That means those objects which throw light or which emits light on their own are called luminous objects. Example, we have sun. It emits light and it gives sunlight, it gives light also. We have stars also. Okay, we can see stars at night, that is also a luminous object. Then we have a light bulb, a torch. Okay, that is basically operated by a cell battery, but it emits light of its own, that means of that battery cell. Okay, so now we will talk about non-luminous objects. So objects that do not reflect light, means opposite to luminous, are known as non-luminous objects. So there are various objects which do not emit light. Okay, so we have a wood that do not emit light, plastics, okay, metals are there, okay, books are there, even our body is also non-luminous, that means we also don't emit light. Okay. So these all are a definition and example of luminous and non-luminous objects. Okay. Now we will move to another, that is we wonder where does light come from. That means how we came to know that where does light come from. Okay, so there are sources of light, and our main source or major source of light is the sun. Okay, and many plants mostly depend on the sunlight for the preparation of food. Okay, because without sunlight the plant can't prepare their own food. Okay, so it is a main source of light as well as energy. Then we have sorting light sources. Sorting light sources means differentiating, okay, or classifying. Okay, so let's see. So we have images here. Okay, and we have two types of sources of light. Number one is natural source. Another one is man-made or artificial source. Okay, so what do you mean by natural source? Natural source means those are natural, it's not created. Okay, so we have a sun as a natural source. Then we have thunder. Okay, when thundering occurs, some flash or some light is seen. Okay, that is also a source of light. Then we have insects, various insects, they also emit light. Okay, means on the lower portion they emit light. Okay, for some habitats. But let's talk about these insects first of all. So these insects were used as a source of light in earlier times. Earlier times means previously, when at night there were no artificial source of light. Okay, these insects were kept in a transparent jar and was hanged at some corners so that few surroundings can get some portion of light. Okay, then we have man-made or artificial source of light. We have fire. That means it is man-made, that means we produce that fire. Then we have television. It also emits light, but as we know, the light of television is not of its own. Okay, if we put on the switch, then only the light will glow, and if the room is dark, the room will be brightened. Similarly, we have torch lights, okay, lamps. Then we have candles as a man-made or artificial or alternative source of light that we mostly used during night when sun is already set. Okay, so let's move towards another part, that is okay, light sources. Okay, as I talked that many insects, few insects, they have a source of light. The source of light is not much, okay, not big to glow a larger area, but a few portion is glown. Okay, not much. And I already talked that these insects or these animals were used as a source of light in earlier days, in ancient times, when there were no bulbs, when there were no electricity. Okay, so they were kept in a jar and hanged at the corner. Okay, so we have an example of fireflies. It glows light, or it has a light source that is natural and living. Then we have glowworms. This is insect also, and few other insect we can see. Okay, now let's move towards another topic, that is, are these light sources no, that means moon is not the source of light. Then we have water. Okay, water also reflects light, but it doesn't have its own source of light, so again no. Then we have mirrors. Okay, it also reflects light, but they all don't have their own light. Okay, that means we can see that at night when there is a dark night, okay, and when we have a full moon, okay, it glows like it has its own source of light, but it's not that. It is the light of the sun that is reflected by the moon. Okay, and the surrounding or the landscape is visible at night, means we can see the landscape. Okay, similarly in the beaches or in the riversides, okay, when the sun is at dusk and dawn, okay, some light is reflected and we can see the light on the water, but these are not the sources of light, they only are reflecting it. Okay, so their items are not light sources, instead they are reflecting light from other sources. Okay, we can conclude. Okay, how do they reflect now? Okay, let's see here. Okay, as I already told in our previous slide that when there is dark and when we have a full moon, okay, the moon looks like as it is glowing. Okay, it is producing its own light, but it is not that case. Okay, moon is very near to us, then we can see that the light from the sun is reflected on the moon, and we on the earth will observe that this moon is reflecting, the moon has its own light, but it's not that the case. Okay, actually the moon is reflecting the light of the sun. Okay, so we have a picture here, okay, which proves that moon only reflects the light of the sun. That is, we wonder where does light come from. That means how we came to know that where does light come from. Okay, so there are sources of light, and our main source, a major source of light is the sun. Okay, and many plants mostly depend on the sunlight for the preparation of food. Okay, because without sunlight the plant can't prepare their own food. Okay, so it is a main source of light as well as energy. So what do you mean by transparent materials? Materials that allow all the light to pass through them are called transparent material. That means those materials which allow the light to easily pass through them. That means we can see the object which is other side of that material. Example, we have glass. Okay, it's from glass we can see the other side. Okay, the light can pass through the glass. Then we have water. Okay, in water also things can be seen. Then we have air. We can't see the air, but there is air, and that is also a transparent material. Okay, now let's move towards translucent material. Translucent material only allows a small amount of light to pass through them, and the object which is behind the material, we cannot see it clearly. It is not visible clearly. Okay, some portion or some movement is also only observed. Okay, for example, we have frosted glasses. Okay, mostly we use in bathrooms. Okay, where a fraction of light can be entered, or we can get the fraction of light, not as a whole. Then we have in many offices, okay, frosted glasses has been used. We have old papers, that is also a translucent material. Then we have tissue papers. Tissue paper is also translucent material. Then muddy water, even clouds, they are all translucent material. That means they only allow a small portion of the light to pass through them. Here we have a figure of a door, or you can see a window. Okay, the wooden part is transparent. Okay, transparent glass, so we can see the trees. On the right hand side, a frosted glass is placed. We can't see the tree clearly. Similarly, on the right hand side, we can only see a portion of hand, but not the whole individual or the whole person. Okay, so only fraction of lights can only pass through the translucent material. Now let's move towards opaque material. What do you mean by opaque material? So those material through which we cannot see at all, means the light cannot pass through that material. It is totally blocked. Okay, so that type of material are said to be opaque material. For example, we have cardboards. Okay, if you keep a cardboard, so we can't see what is on the other side of the cardboard because it is an opaque material. Even wood. Okay, that's why doors are made of wood, so that no one can see through the door. If door is not there, we just put a curtain, a thick curtain. Okay, in that case also the other part is not seen. Even bricks, metals, books, even we people are also opaque material. And to say you the fact that due to this opaque material only, shadow can be observed, which we will talk later. Okay, so we have door, bricks or wall, we can say. Okay, then we have a ball. We can't see that buildings, a whole part of the building can't be seen because the ball has blocked the thing. Okay, now let's move towards shadow. As I told you, shadow is made when an object blocks the light. That means when an opaque medium comes in between the light. Okay, so light travels in a straight line, as we all know. So if it is blocked, the shadow is formed. Okay, just see here, a light is there, a hand. As I told that our body is also an opaque material, and shadow is formed below that. Okay, then let's talk about shadow. Okay, an object must be opaque or translucent to make a shadow. That means transparent material never forms a shadow. Either the material must be opaque or translucent. Mostly we take opaque material to form a shadow. A transparent object will not make any shadow, as light will easily pass through the transparent object. Okay, here let's just see. There is no shadow of the window because it has a transparent glass. Similarly, on the right hand side, you can see the shadow of the tree because it is a opaque material. Okay, medium or material whatsoever. Then we will talk about the size of the shadow. Okay, or length of the shadow. So it is determined by the where source of light is. If it is far away, means in a what you can say, straight towards us, okay, the shadow formed will be long. And if it is above us, the shadow will be of short, means short in size. So in early morning and evening, that means in morning and evening, the sun is at a very low in the sky and cast a long shadow. So in the morning, we can see the shadow of certain things. Say for example, tree. Okay, it will appear long. So as the time will pass, when it will move towards the head, that means at the midday, the shadow will be small. Okay, that means long, then it will keep on decreasing, the shadow will keep on decreasing. Then at the midday it will be short, as you can see in the figure. Then when after midday, in the afternoon, in the evening, again it will be longer. Okay, so we can say that the length of this shadow depends upon the source of light. Okay, so if an object is moved closer to the light source, the shadow gets bigger. That means if an object is kept closer to the source of light, we will see a big shadow. Okay, the shadow will appear large, bigger. But if same object, if you move towards the light, that means away from the light, okay, the shadow will get small. Okay, so as I told that the size, the length of the shadow depends on the source and where it is kept. Okay, so this was all about light and a bird view description of this shadow. So in our next class we will talk more about light and shadow and also reflection. Till then, thank you.